If you are running a business, you actually don't need a bunch of content that drives likes and follows. What you do need is the kind of content that gets you discovered and builds trust. The kind of content that makes people think and think, oh, yeah, she gets it. I want to work with her. So I built a tool that's designed to do exactly that. It's called the Go To Content Grid, 12 topics strategically designed to work together to get you noticed, trusted, and remembered. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through it and show you how it can simplify and speed up all of your content creation for 2026. So, the heart of the tool is a set of curated topics and related AI prompts. And if you work your way through them, you can be 100% sure that your content will build trust, give people clarity about what you do, and move your IC, your ideal client, closer to working with you. If you haven't downloaded it yet, you can grab your free copy in the description so you can follow along. And by the way, I'm Laura, and I use these topics to create YouTube videos, a LinkedIn newsletter, and 5 to 7 social posts every single week. So I find most consultants treat marketing like a side hustle, kind of post stuff whenever you have time and hope somebody sees it. Well, think of the go to grid as a way to integrate strategic content into your business without burning your Sunday afternoons. So you can use it and really use it. The same topics work for long form like blogs and newsletters. And because of the way it's designed, every single piece of your content not only relates to each other, but you're creating this credibility building body of work. It's good for AI search, by the way. And it also relates back to what you do, because that's the foundation for the whole party, right? So with this tool, you're not depending on an AI that knows nothing about your business to come up with content ideas. You're giving it the structure and the context it needs to help you create better content faster. So let's talk about how you actually use this thing. The most important thing to understand is that everything is based on my POV or point of view framework. So, as business owners, our content needs to do four things. It needs to help our ideal clients find us. It has to remind our referral network what we do and that we're still out there. It needs to build trust and it needs to get our prospects to take action. And so, there are three content areas we need to hit to make all of that happen. We need to talk about what we do and how we do it. And that's easiest if you have a framework or a methodology. It's basically your approach to solving problems. And then we need to have and share our opinions out loud in public. And then we need to tell stories about our experiences. And if you want to learn more about how those three types of content actually work together to get you noticed and build trust, I just posted a whole video on it, and I recommend that you watch that one next. I'll put a link in the description, okay? So let's look at this grid. So the first thing we do is pick a square, any square. Now, in the download version, each of these squares also contains a fill in the blank AI prompt, but it did not translate well to a small screen. So I am just going to start by showing you the titles, and then I'm going to show you an example of the prompts. So the grid is made up of four topic areas in each of the three components of the POV model. The framework, again, your unique approach to problem solving, your opinion, how you think differently from the other people in your niche, and then the stories that add emotion and really act like the nitro boost for trust. So, important note, there's no order here. You just pick one that appeals to you and dive in. What is important is that you cycle among the columns over time because they each play an important role in creating that connected content that ultimately gets you to be the go to in your niche. So, I've got a few insider tips for you all who are watching the video. If you're trying to get visible fast, I would start with a hot take or a quick win because I think those are good for discoverability. But if you've primarily been doing social and you're ready to build some trust, then I would try the proof post or the empathy post. And again, these work for long form like blogs or newsletters, or they work for social media, okay? But these topics create connection and credibility. And this is really a choose your own adventure. You can do these as written or you can mix and match them. So let's dive in and see what the prompt templates look like. So every square in the grid has a prompt that looks like this, and you can copy and paste it into ChatGPT or Claude just as written, and then you fill in your own expertise. So your framework, your stories, your point of view. So let's see how this would work with this one and how I would fill it in. So, challenge a misconception in your niche. When I talk to people about frameworks, a lot of times they're concerned that their framework would need to be 100% original. And so that's the belief that I want to challenge in this. And so I wanted to write a short LinkedIn post about it. And I want to say why it's wrong. And then I'm putting in my beliefs about why it's wrong. So the reality is that most frameworks are recombinations of existing concepts. This is what ChatGPT came back with. So the myth, your framework has to be 100% original, right? We gave it that. Truth, most powerful frameworks aren't invented from scratch. They're recombinations of existing ideas. So it invented the setup, myth, truth, but it returned what I gave it, right? The frameworks aren't invented from scratch. And then it went on. So the goal is not to publish a paper in the Harvard Business Review. It's to help your clients see their problem more clearly. Then it says frameworks aren't about originality, they're about clarity. I don't like that structure. I used to like it before AI, but I think AI uses it too often. So I'm probably going to get rid of that. They take what's complex and make it teachable, repeatable, and actionable. I like that part. And if your framework helps someone finally get it, that's innovation enough. It's okay, but I want to make this more about if it helps clarify things for your potential clients. So, this is how I edited it and the post that I eventually put out there. So, I kept the first two pieces, the myth and the truth, and then I adjusted that your framework exists to simplify your ideas. And then I changed that structure that I didn't like much. And then I finished it up with something that sounded a little bit more like me. If your framework helps your clients understand how you can help, then it's doing its job. Okay, so you can see how the tool works, but let me explain specifically how this saves me time. So I didn't have to spend a bunch of time figuring out a topic. I knew the answers to that question off the top of my head, so it was easy for me to just type them in. And then I cleaned up the draft and I posted it. Easy peasy. So here's another pro tip for everybody who's listening. Set aside a couple of hours one afternoon and create some documents that talk about your framework, that talk about a few of your key opinions, and put in a couple proof stories that you have. It's not only going to let the AI get a better feel for how to write like you, but it's also going to save you a bunch of time when it comes to filling in the blanks. But I do have a warning for you. Okay, this grid is going to save you tons of time and give you a strategic plan, but don't let the AI do the work. Okay, you're the expert. All the AI can do is predict the next word. That's all it can do. So you have to think of it like an intern, okay? Educated, but no real insight. So if you want this to work for you, you're going to have to do kind of a deep pass on it to get rid of the bot stuff and to give it real perception, real insight that you have, that you've built over your years of doing whatever it is that you do. One thing that I do is I read it out loud. And I ask myself, does this sound like something I would say over the table at lunch? And if it doesn't, I keep editing it until it does. So I don't think it needs to be fancy. It's much better if it's in your familiar voice. So the last step to using the go-to content grid is to batch and repurpose. So if you use one of these prompts to write a blog post or a newsletter, something long form, and you get it sounding how you want it, don't stop there. So ask the AI to turn it into 3 to 5 social media posts, okay? Or ask it to create a 30-second reel script for you. One idea, 5 to 8 formats, okay? Let's not work harder than we have to. Okay, so next steps for you. If you haven't downloaded the grid yet, grab it because this is how you're going to get people interested in not just what you can jam into a social media post, but actually learning how you think and what you think. And if you're a consultant, well, duh, that's why they're hiring you. So once you've got the grid, pick a square, drop the prompt into your favorite AI, and once you're happy with it, post it and then tag me when you do. I would love to see what you create, and I promise I will leave you a like and a comment. So remember, this isn't about becoming an influencer on Pinterest. This is about getting in front of the decision makers in your niche and letting them see how and why you're different. And that's exactly what this tool was built to help you do. Now, if you're serious about using content to build credibility and warm up your referrals and attract ideal clients, these are the two videos you need to watch next. You got this.